What is the easiest way to transition into a vegan diet? A healthy, high, raw vegan diet. So, I wanted to share something with you that I think is going to be super helpful, especially if you're new to all of this. And if you've been vegan for a while, let me know if you agree in the comments. My name is JJ, also known as Veganowledge JJ, as you can see by the name of the page. It's great to meet you, and I'm glad you're here. If you are beginning to explore all of this, and maybe that's how you found this video, and you are confused about where to begin, I was there too. Uh, in when I was age 42 in 2019, I came from eating just how everyone grew up eating meat as the centerpiece of every plate, dairy, ice cream, everything. I grew up, as they say, with the standard American diet. And I came across a video when my wife and I, Dawn, were exploring how to grow sprouts in our kitchen. Not that we were vegan, but we were just trying to get healthier. And so we learned about living foods, and she came across it and shared it with me. And it showed that people were losing weight and healing things like diabetes on a raw vegan diet. And raw vegan meant uncooked, unprocessed, just fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and things like that. So, just on a whim, I decided to try it for 3 days. It turns out that I kept going. I decided to eat these big, vibrant salads. And in 30 days, I had reversed 18 years of chronic back pain. On, I guess it was about 6 months in, I was down 55 pounds, returned from where I was to my high school, basically, weight. I also, in the process of this, reversed, like, I don't know if you say reversed or eliminated seasonal allergies that I'd had since a kid. Like that, it was April of 2019, and that year my allergies never come on, and they've never come on again since. So I adopted a raw vegan diet. I explored all versions of this vegan diet. I went from raw vegan, then I began to explore like I want to say like processed type foods like vegan meat alternatives, and I also went into what they call whole food plant based, which is you can add cooked foods, cooked vegetables, beans, potatoes, which I love these vegan mashed potatoes, so that was a good diet for me for a while. But I ultimately returned to what I call high raw, which is a majority of my foods are uncooked, unprocessed. And I do, still at certain times consume minimally processed cooked foods. But for the most part, I try to keep it raw on a normal basis, or as many raw foods as possible. I just find that it makes me feel my best. And during periods of time when I, feel like I need some grounding foods, that would be like potatoes or maybe more beans and things like that. So, what I found for me, though, what really worked was being very simplistic with it. Like, we find that everything else in life, we come into it. Like, when we're a baby, we learn how to crawl before we learn how to walk. We learn one word before we learn a sentence. But yet, when it comes to exploring new things, like when we're adults, like a vegan diet, or even, you know, other complex things, we think we have to learn everything all at once. And one thing that I really advocate for is keeping it as simple as possible. So you can always add things on. You can always learn new things later on when it comes to your diet. But one of the things that really worked for me was I had one big salad every day. And of course, the salad got bigger. I added, not only vegetables like lettuce, spinach, kale, those type of things. But I also had mung bean sprouts, which is like a living food. But then I also ended up adding like other vegetables, tomatoes, cucumbers, which I know now are fruits, not even vegetables, but those type of things. Avocado, which is a fruit essentially too, because it has a seed. Who knew, right? I sound smart when I say that now. And then like um Also, like, you can add different types of nuts or seeds, like if you have ever had, chia seeds or something like that, you can have that insert in desserts. You can also just add like walnuts to your salad to give it a little more of a dense feel. But what I found for me really worked was keeping it simple. So, like, if you are exploring this diet, instead of trying to learn all these vegan cooked recipes right off the bat, start with things that you already know. Like, go out and get like 4 kinds of fruit that you really like. And I love having fruit for lunch when I actually end up eating lunch. You can also make a smoothie if that works better for you. Like, if you're on the go and you have to be running out the door, maybe you might want to put fruit and some type of leafy green into a smoothie and start having that, and maybe even adding some chia seeds or something so that it's kind of like keeps you full a little bit longer. But for the most part, having like a big piece of fruit, whatever it is you love, or like if it's not like a watermelon where I'm saying a piece of fruit, like a half a watermelon, you might want to eat like 4 oranges. I like keeping things really simple. I would say keep it as simple as possible so you're not making this big smoothie recipe right off the thing. Just eat some fruit for lunch. For dinner, I recommend like a big salad. That way you're getting a lot of your nutrients, and I can even share with you what I put in my salad. And then if you're still new and you like, maybe you want to be raw vegan, but you still need like some density, some grounding foods, and maybe high raw plan might work to transition you into it. Maybe you want to have a like make a big pot of beans and vegetables, like lightly steamed vegetables to add onto your salad if you're rice, but it's actually a seed. You can add that to rice. You can add like, other types of, or like even like a, olives or something like that to your salad. I usually recommend, especially if you're coming into this like I was, and a lot of us are, for weight loss, I try to keep fats to like 15 or 10% of the whole meal plan, especially that even might go down as you go. Make sure that you are getting like celery in, because you're going to be cutting out probably high sodium foods that you were eating, if you're doing this to like get healthy and lose weight. Now, if you're coming into the vegan diet and you're not right now interested in health, you're just trying to replace your exact diet that you were eating. I mean, there are other ways to do this. There are ways you can go out and you can buy vegan meat alternatives, or you can look up recipes to make tofu and things like that. Like, there's so many ways to do this, but I find if you're like a simple person, and or maybe your family is still eating the normal way and you want to transition to this way, keeping it simple is going to work for you. That worked for me. Like, we were very busy at the time. We were running a business. We were barely, had time to cook. So it actually fit into my lifestyle where I was able to, grab a couple of, things, snacks, like if I wanted some nuts and seeds and maybe some snow peas at lunch or something, that I didn't really have to eat a whole lot because I had to stay active and stay on the go. And I never really ate lunch. I would always eat a big meal at night. And then I made this huge salad. And maybe for dessert, I would have some more nuts and blueberries. And I found like all these really good, like, fruits that I really liked, and I found that it started making me feel so good. You know, it's not going to feel great at first. Not well, it did feel great. I'm going to say I enjoyed it because I was aligned and I was getting healthy. But what I didn't realize was, I still was craving a lot of dense foods, which in the beginning is why I had more nuts, seeds, avocado. But then as I began to feel healthier and I like the lighter food, your gut biome starts really wanting fresh food, and that's why I say keep it very simple. If you're still hungry, eat that potato or whatever you want afterwards, but just eat your big salad first. So, fruit at lunch or a smoothie, and then go for a really big salad with healthy fat like avocados on it, lots of lettuce, vegetables, fruits like cucumbers, avocado, and a go for these big salads, because that's going to fill you up almost essentially. So you'll be eating less. And if you still need it, there's other vegan foods you can eat. Go ahead and eat the potato and beans and whatever you need to fill up, but always have those things first. And that keeps it very simple. So that would be my recommendation. Simplicity, simplicity. Don't worry about complicated recipes. Eat what you already know that you already eat. As a meat eater, just eliminate the meat out of it and try to get that protein type density in with other types of foods. So, thank you for being here. If you'd like to explore my simple 4-step blueprint to transform your health, weight, and mindset, and hear the story about how I went from the standard American diet to a vegan diet just out of nowhere, as they say, by mistake. You can check that out in my book, which I have up here behind me on the screen. And also, it is on Amazon. You can go to gladblueprint.com. It has an interactive quiz and a workbook with it that you can start to transform your life and reach your goals. And then also, I have for a limited time released the audiobook for free. So just leave me a comment if you'd like it. I'll link you to that. And you can also watch my show, Amazing Plantz4mationz, on my live tab, is where many of those are at. And I interview people who have transformed their life too with a vegan diet. So remember, there's many ways to vegan. I find healthy, unprocessed food is usually the best way to start, and it's very simple, and it will start you out on the right foot, as they say. So thank you for watching. My name is Veganowledge JJ.